Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video we'll be taking a look at the new Thermaltake CT range of cooling fans in RGB, both black and white. Keep watching to find out more. Okay, so in today's video we take a look at the new Thermaltake CT range of fans. These are the new kind of stock fans which will be coming in a lot of Thermaltake cases coming forward in the coming months and years, etc. And it's got to the point where stock fans are no longer rubbish. They have actually upped their game quite a lot. They've learned a lot from the previous Toughfan range and have integrated a lot of the features into these fans but made them considerably cheaper so they can be included in cases as a free bundle deal. And also, so if you want to buy a case and then add more fans so it all looks nice and what has a single cohesive look, then you certainly can do with a range of fans that are both RGB and non-RGB and available in 120mm and 140mm, and obviously available in either black or white depending on your case preference. So as you can probably see already, these are the fans as they come. Nice retail packaging. Strangely, although potentially in some instances it's going to be good, they only come in packs of 2. So you can't get a single fan and you can't get a triple fan, which for those of you with triple radiators might be a little bit of concern because you would need to buy 2 packs. But don't worry, obviously you can still use the additional fan elsewhere. Maybe the back of your case, maybe change out your existing CPU cooler fan if you wanted to. Potentially that is an option, as these work really well as both radiator fans, air cooler fans and traditional case fans. In terms of lighting for the addressable RGB versions, both the 140 and the 120 come with 9 addressable RGBs in the center hub, which illuminates through the actual opaque blades, and in my opinion looks very nice. And as you can probably see, maybe you've seen some B-roll already, I've got them actually in the case behind me and I think they look absolutely stunning. So let's go through, do a quick unboxing of the 120s and see what we get. The 140s, obviously it's going to be pretty much identical. The only thing difference is going to be the actual specifications. So with the 120s, you're looking at RPMs between 500 and 2000 RPM, whereas with the larger 140s, you're looking at an RPM range between 500 and 1500 RPM. Now they will actually go down lower than that, although that is their kind of official rating, but with MSI Center and even with other pieces of software, you can get them to go down as low as kind of like 200 RPM. And the ones in the system behind me, I generally keep spinning at somewhere around about 500 to 600 RPM, and at which point they are absolutely silent. So let's start off with the CT120 ARGB. So as you can see, PC cooling fan, 2 of them included. Got 2.23mm H2O static pressure and a maximum of 25.8 dBA. They are very quiet. When they're at full load, they do get audible, but certainly it's more to do with the actual airflow rather than any kind of nasties from either the bearings or anything like that. They are actually using hydraulic bearings as well, which is awesome. PWM range, as we said, for the 120s, between 500 and 2000 RPM. And on the back of the box, it goes into more detail. So I'll leave that on the screen for you so you can check that out in more detail should you want to. Other things which they note on here as well is the new clip which they include, which we'll take a look at, which is actually probably one of the coolest additions I've ever seen, but is so simple to do and implement and costs basically nothing, but actually makes addressable RGB a whole lot easier to manage. So taking the fans out of the box, you get a instruction guide, leaflet, etc. And you get the fans packed in there very nicely. So let's take these out. So obviously you get 1, 2 fans, which is awesome. One of the things you'll notice straight away is the fact that the cabling is ridiculously short. Now there's actually a very, very good reason for this, and that is so you can actually daisy chain them very easily and not have a spaghetti mess of cables everywhere. So literally, because you've only got a short length there, you can put a couple of fans together and just daisy chain them together, and it's absolutely great. Very little wire to actually manage. Now the reason they've done that is to make life a lot easier. They know that a lot of people are going to put fans possibly in stacks of 2, 3, potentially even 4, and you don't want all that crazy cabling everywhere, which is a really obvious thing. It's an absolute pain to manage that stuff. More cable ties, all that kind of stuff. It's a real pain. So daisy chain is available on these fans, both for PWM and also for addressable RGB. But in order to connect them actually up to a PC or your radiator, you're going to need accessories. So let's take a look at those next. So because you've got 2 fans, you've got 2 of everything. So there are 2 sets of mounting screws. And handily, they've included both radiator style screws and also case screws, the traditional ones. They do recommend, however, if you are mounting these to a radiator, it's generally best to use the screws that come included with your radiator, just in case these are either too short or too long, but they're there as an additional. Perhaps maybe in your case you're mounting from reverse, then potentially you might want to use those. Nice to see them included, just in case you do need them. Next up is going to be the cabling. So there is a PWM cable. So this is your kind of traditional cable, and this also has the daisy chain compatibility. So nice long cable, so if you've got your fan at the front of the case, top of the case, wherever it is, then you can run this as an extension from the fans to wherever it needs to hook up. So you can imagine maybe 3 of these connected up, all the wires nice and tidy, and then just one single wire going to your fan header. All of them are PWM, 4-pin, fully wired as well, and you can daisy chain them. They do have a recommendation for no more than 3 fans connected in a single daisy chain, but as we've seen in a live stream, which we'll put some links for, where we went into these in a lot more depth, I've actually connected 8 of these up together to a hub, and it worked absolutely fine, PWM and addressable RGB. So potentially, if you want to have a huge line of them, you can do. So 2 PWM cables included, and obviously RGB as well, so you get the RGB cable, and this does effectively the same thing. So you've got your RGB cables on your fans, you don't want to run all of those right back to your header, so you just get a single cable, which you can extend to wherever you need to. And it's a nice long cable as well, so depending where you want to go, you can route it around the outside edges of your case and not have to worry too much. All of the pins, I've got plastic caps on them to protect them, which is always nice to see. So you don't have any exposed metal for your 5-volt voltage. And also, the last thing, which is super cool, is the little Thermaltake connector. So this is, again, something so simple, yet so effective. So as most of you have known, if you've got your addressable RGB cables and you're daisy chaining them, so you plug them together, as you would normally. These are always a little bit fiddly. So they snap together, and generally all it takes is a little bit of a pull and they come apart. So when you're doing your cable management or maybe moving things in your case, they have a tendency to fall apart. But don't worry about that, because you can use your little Thermaltake connector, pop it over the top, and it basically locks them in position. So even if you tug them, they don't want to come apart. I love this idea. I think this is fantastic. Hopefully Thermaltake will actually sell these as an individual product so you can buy them. So even if you don't have Thermaltake fans, because these fit pretty much all of the addressable RGB connectors, you could deck out your PC with these and make life a lot easier. Although saying that, if you're buying these fans, then you're not going to have a great deal of these cables to actually connect, but you do get 2 of them anyway. So if you've got 2 fans, you get 2 of these connectors. So you're probably thinking, Mike, that's great, but actually, are they any good? Well, actually, let's take a close look at the fans and you can see why they are so good. So basically what they've done is, like I said, they've taken the technology from the Toughfans and integrated it into a more cost-effective design. So the reasons they've cut down on costs is the actual frame itself is primarily hollow, but still is rigid as all hell. You literally have to put a lot of force in them to bend them, so they're very strong fans. You've also got a 7-blade design. You've got 9 addressable RGBs in there. The hub bearing is a 4-pull bearing. Hydraulic as well, to stop your bearings drying out, all that kind of stuff. We've also got some cool little features, so the actual rubber grommets, which are on both sides, have been actually integrated in the design, so they actually go right into there. They don't pop out, fall out or anything like that, which is always good to see. But overall, yeah, very good fans. There's virtually no wobble in the shaft whatsoever, which is always a good thing to see. And it's cool little things that they've put in, such as the Thermaltake logo on the sides. Although for me, in the PC behind me, because we've got the fans in the radiator, the Thermaltake logo is kind of upside down, but anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, overall, excellent fans, very easy to use, very easy to connect, as we've seen already. In terms of noise-wise, absolutely stellar performance, very quiet. Actually, previously in my PC, I was using some of the Arctic PWM PST fans, which are possibly some of the best I've ever used, and these have replaced it. I do like fans, I do like RGB, I do like fans to be quiet and actually have a decent RPM range, which is controllable. And these tick the boxes for pretty much all of that all the way through. And to boot, I think personally they look very nice. It's a very simplistic design, and again, as you've seen from the B-roll on the PC, it just ties in really nicely with the rest of the design, and it doesn't look like I've just thrown any old fans in there. It has completed that cohesive vision that I actually envisaged for the PC when I first started building it. So there you go, I think that's pretty much enough for the CT120 and 140mm fans. They are available, like I said, in RGB or non-RGB, 120 and 140mm. Would be really cool if they actually come out with some other sizes as well. A 200mm fan would be awesome, because that is something which on the market at the moment just purely does not exist, at least anything which is half decent. So there you go, that has been the Thermaltake CT120 ARGB fans in both black and white, 120 and 140mm fans. I'll put prices and availability in the comments below so you can check out for yourselves. I will say, spoiler alert, they're not cheap, but they're certainly not overly expensive. And if you are looking to replace maybe some Corsair 120 fans or maybe some Arctic fans, they are roughly the same sort of prices. Obviously, do shop around to see where you can get the best bargains. Again, check out the links to find out more. So there you go. I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.